Welcome to Wayne's Weird World. That's where the extension for the Shadehouse is going to go. Soon, hopefully. I've been clearing it. I was asked about fertilizer. That nasty shit, excuse the term, is my witch's brew. And it gets everything. That's chook shit, ground up eggshells, an apple core, tea leaves. I don't want that on my hands. Definitely not on my clothes, because I'm going to go over to Penguin Beer Company. Now, I want to show you my water pressure. Let's put this down a minute. See, this is only gravity feed, dam water. And it's all right for chasing your chooks and watering plants, but it's not enough for what I have inside that I connect up to the house pump. Let's go inside. Good idea. Who said that? Let's go inside. And I have a siphon mixer. I don't know. Gus is coming in? No, he's busy. Okay, let's have a little look around. Things are starting to come into bud. Different things. Big speciosums. These are going to be some really nice big spikes. That one back there is Avril's Gold. It's finishing. Two of the spikes were either eaten off by and damaged by aphids, or I found an earwig tucked in this bit of rag that I always keep around for wiping things down. Now, before we go over here, did I hear Gus knock at the door? Yeah, well, why not? Come on. Where is he? There he is. Let's see if I can get around this thing without toppling everything over. The tripod. Now, this is the siphon mixer. Connects up to the house pump. And I mix the temperature, hot and cold, to baby bottle warm. That goes into my 20-liter container of witch's brew. That's on the tap. That's the hose that connects up, and I bring it out here for watering. Very, very functional. Mixes at about ratio of 20-1. Now, something else. Big orchids. And how to move them? Well, this is what I use. I got a friend of mine, Fred usually, if he's around. That goes underneath the pot. Any of these big pots, the rims, and then I tighten it up with the sash clamp and pick it up like, I call it my stretcher. This is the one I had the accident with. It was not funny. You can imagine moving this thing around. It probably weighs as much as I do. And when it tipped over, landed on the floor, broke the milk crate, broke the turntable. Surprisingly, the pot didn't break, nor any of the canes. Oh, just Eddie. Yeah, so the greenhouse I call my inner sanctum. Then I come out here and do weed patrol. Little one, Jonathan's Glory, Dark Joy crossed with Ray's Spot Superb. A nice little Kimianum cross. I'm gradually getting rid of all the unnamed ones, so either give them away, or throw them away, or mount them in trees out in the garden. Let's move over here a little bit. Now this one I found several blades of grass growing in it. This one I can actually pick up, and it goes back here. So let's get this out of the way. All right. Grunt, grunt, groan. There, safely out of the way. Because I need this so I can sit down. Always have a tray nearby for moving orchids around, because when you get this many and you've got to get a big one out, let's turn you around again. Come on. And you've got to get a big one out to have the little ones in a tray. Makes it so much easier. Okay. All right. I was asked about Cymbidiums as well. Yeah, my nose is running. No, you're not jumping up on me. I've got clean clothes. No! Don't you dare. Whoop. You don't have your lap blanket. Nope. Because I'm going to head over to Pig and Beer Company for a Sunday afternoon session. Yeah. So these are all coming along nicely. Cymbidiums. Let's get that away. New growth on one side, flower spike on the other. They usually grow with a back bulb away from where the new growth is coming out. So when you're going to pot them up, put the back bulbs as close to one side of the pot as you can, and give it as much room as you allow on the other side. But don't overpot them into a huge pot. 1 or 2 fingers is fine. 3 or 4, nah, too big. Back bulbs. Come on! Sphagnum moss. Oh, another weed. I'll get that later. So as long as they're firm, living sphagnum moss, as long as they're firm, don't pull them out, don't touch them, don't wiggle them. But if you see one starting to go brown, there's one in there even. Then, is that firm? Yes, it's firm. These are all firm. I had to take a couple out that had rotted out. There's a little hole in there that one came out of. I prefer to use tweezers. Nah, just broke the top off. I'll get it later. Now, it might take 2 or 3 years for those back bulbs to develop large enough to flower. I've heard of 4 or 5 years, so don't stress. Don't get too disappointed if nothing's happening straight away. I like this bench. I can sit my whiskey in it. So, more back bulbs. These were put in 2nd December 2021. And I think, oh, see, there's a new one there. I think all of these back bulbs, this one's Cymbidium Hero. Now, this tray back here is Hero. This one is Cymbidium Hero. Quite nice. A couple of back ones were given to me. They don't have a name. This one, I don't know. Something's been giving it a hard time. And all the outer surface of the flower buds has been damaged. Oftentimes that's aphids when they're just coming out. So it's just going to starting to open. See if I can break it. No, don't. See, this one is horse shit and fine pine bark with a top layer of living sphagnum moss. And it's doing pretty well. Now, this one's a species Cymbidium. And here's a cultivar, Perditian Surprise Pinky. Let's get this one down. I'm going to show you this one closer. Now the difference between, ooh, watch the elbow. The difference between this one, I think, is going to be a new growth, but it could be a spike. Because what happens, you might not be able to see, there's little bumps. You can see that one probably better than any. I don't know if it's in the camera. Little tiny bump showing under the surface. These are quite evident, and these would be nice cascading flower spikes. And yeah, I've had scale, I've had aphids, I've had everything. And I don't use any nasties. Oh, scale right there. I don't use any nasties on them other than horticultural oil and neem oil. But it's a good idea. Ah, there's some. Oh, I'm going to have to spray. They're oftentimes either underneath or in the midrib. Ah, look. Scale. So these will be gotten rid of. And then I run over them with a toothbrush after spraying them. So, I'm glad I spotted that. Because these two go back in the greenhouse. Come on, get in the hook. Oh, don't you dare fall off. Those two are going to go back in the greenhouse. Kingianums are just going nuts. Flower spikes coming out right, left, and center. This one was the one that you broke a flower spike off of. Quite a nice one. Yeah, some of these are just going nuts. What do we have here? Dendrobium, Flinders Grant Garrett, crossed with the Speciosum Windermere, HCCOSCOV. And that's supposedly what it's going to look like. Ta-da! We're just coming along. Yep. So that's the Shadehouse. And as you can see from the crowdedness, no jumping. I'm already running out of room because those three big speciosums, when they start putting out flower spikes, they're going to need 1.5 meters, maybe even 2 meters each. Why do I do this? I don't know. But I'm an old fart and I enjoy it. Cheers. Canes that you hope will do something. Stake them firmly. They're just in straight sphagnum moss. I haven't watered out here except for the siphon mixer, Fertilizer, Witch's Brew, in over a month. I think I used the Witch's Brew because they're coming into flower spike a couple of weeks ago. And things just don't dry out. But you want to make sure they drain really freely. Oh, secret. One of my viewers was asking about orchids and the Laelia that I bought, $20 pot, squat pot about that size, $20. This cost a lot more than 20. This one's Avril's Gold Dell. When I got it, it only had these two spikes, and it's grown this one, and those two spikes alone, that cost me $60 Australian. One of my more expensive orchids, at least in relation to size. I've heard of much more. The big speciosum was $100. The other big one back there was $80, and this one was $50. That's enough. That's enough. Now somewhere in here is my very, 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 very first speciosum. I wonder if this is it. I've had it for 12 years or more. Is it? No. This is Windermere Herberton Cross. Speciosum. Now, it's in here hiding. It's hiding somewhere. Anyway, that's it. Wayne's Weird World. I've got a runny nose, a dog that wants to play, chooks to feed, and a whiskey to finish, and then go to Penguin Beer Company for competitive solitaire or communal solitaire, or the people that are standing next to me at the bar say, "Oh, you missed that one." So it's free game, full on. Sometimes 3 or 4 hands, they see something, they're moving this and that, and it's actually a lot of fun. We'll see you next time. Cheers.